Well, NetEase has found themselves as the defendants in a very brand new lawsuit. This was actually filed last month, but this was just noticed today, and the entire court filing was actually put online by Polygon via the website Scribed, so thank you, Polygon. I'll link it in the description if you want to read the entire court filing. I have gone through it, as well as I've read the Polygon article, and yeah, it is definitely quite something. Essentially, there is this company called Prytania Media. Now, this is owned by Jeff Strain and Annie Strain. I don't know if they're like brother and sister or if they're married, I don't know. But essentially, they are the two people that are suing NetEase. Now, why are they suing NetEase? So essentially, the TLDR version of this is that Prytania Media owns a few studios. Yeah, game studios, and I should say owned in the past tense because these game studios last year, 2024, were shut down. They are, I believe, 4 game studios. Now, the main one that is discussed in this lawsuit is a studio by the name of Crop Circle Games. Now, the thing is that with Crop Circle, NetEase actually owned 25% of it because that is how much they invested in it. So Prytania Media owned the other 75%. Essentially, the allegations from Prytania is that NetEase did a lot of different stuff to ruin the reputation of Crop Circle Games and I believe some of these other studios, but mainly Crop Circle, and this inevitably led to its demise. So it starts off by saying this case is about the destruction of the careers of 2 gaming industry veterans and their company by a Chinese entity seeking to avoid compliance with United States law. Annie and Jeff Strain formed Prytania Media, a Louisiana-based video game company focused on launching subsidiary game development studios to create innovative games under their unified brand, and then later on it says now, a few short years after its founding, the company and all its game studios are all inactive due to the misconduct of the defendants. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that they talk about how NetEase kind of tried to avoid compliance with US law. I'm not seeing that they go into a ton of detail into this specific allegation, but they did also say that it kind of sounds like other details will come out later on, so who knows? But as far as the alleged defamation and the rumor spreading, that is addressed. So they go on to say one of Prytania Media's game development studios, Crop Circle Games, partnered with NetEase, and what was supposed to be a mutually beneficial relationship was eventually overshadowed by worries over NetEase's United States regulatory compliance as well as a contraction in the gaming industry. After repeated requests from Annie and Jeff Strain that NetEase confirm it was following US foreign investment laws, NetEase took action to silence their partners. Again, I'm not entirely sure what US foreign investment laws that like NetEase was allegedly dodging here, or at least allegedly not confirming that they were following. But essentially, it sounds like their relationship with NetEase was just very, very bad. And this is mainly due to these alleged rumors that were spread. So they go on to say, for its own benefit, NetEase caused defamatory rumors to run rife in the gaming investment community during a sensitive time in the industry. Now, these rumors prevented Crop Circle Games' success and destroyed the portfolio and its founder's reputation in the process. With knowledge of the statement's falsity, NetEase accused Prytania Media of fraudulently mismanaging Crop Circle Games' finances, and as a result, several critical potential investors and partners in Prytania Media and its subsidiaries pulled out, and what was once a $344 million venture is now worth nearly nothing. That is quite a lot to unpack. Now, I am guessing that the details of a lot of these claims will later on come out. As I said, this is kind of just the initial court filing, but there are some details that they do lay out, mainly regarding these rumors, as well as kind of some of the dealings of NetEase's own CEO. So like they talk about this Changlin Han. Now, Changlin was basically an executive at NetEase that worked very closely with Crop Circle Games, allegedly, and they are alleging that this Mr. Han was behind a lot of these rumors. Essentially, it sounds like they are alleging that he admitted that his own internal communications that were, I guess, somewhat defamatory or degrading toward Crop Circle that could have maybe put them in a bad light. He acknowledged, allegedly, that his own comments regarding this had leaked to the public market. So that's pretty big, kind of lays out this whole allegation that NetEase and their own misconduct kind of was behind a lot of the downfall of Crop Circle. Now, they also talk about the NetEase CEO, as I stated. So this is Ding Lei. This dude is like a super billionaire. He owns NetEase. He's like the founder founder and CEO. I just want to throw this in here. If you Google his name, literally, the first picture that comes up is this. I'm not kidding. It's literally just him with a pig. Why is it... Why is the first picture that comes up him with a pig? I did look it up. It looks like it's because he invested in organic pig farms. And I don't know, I guess he thought it was a great idea to take this snapshot. I don't know, this might have desktop wallpaper vibes. I don't know, anyone else feeling that? I don't know. Anyway, no denying that's a pretty legendary picture, I guess. So yeah, anyway, Ding Lei, they are alleging that he was, I guess, like dodging these U.S. laws. Again, it's not super clear like what laws these were, but it looks like the allegation here is that he was dodging these because he was trying to like emigrate to the U.S. They talk about how 5 years ago he actually purchased a mansion that was worth almost $30 million from Elon Musk in California, and it also says that in 2022, Simon Zhu, who is another bigwig at NetEase, admitted that he and other NetEase employees were actively attempting to emigrate from China. He told Mr. and Mrs. Strain that he had purchased a large amount of property in Idaho and referred to it as his new home base. So yeah, essentially the allegation is that NetEase, they wanted to stay cool with U.S. law because a lot of them wanted to move to the U.S. And it does not stop there. They are also alleging that NetEase is controlled by the Chinese Communist Party and that NetEase's board members are also members of the Chinese Communist Party. And essentially they're alleging that if NetEase were to comply with a lot of these reporting requirements, they would, I guess, have to reveal a lot of these board members' identities and specifically, additionally, their alleged affiliation with the CCP. Yeah, pretty wild stuff. Now, it does look like they are seeking $900 worth of damages, which, yes, is roughly 3 times the amount of what they said the company was worth. This I did not find in the lawsuit itself, but according to Polygon, this was in a letter that was sent to NetEase. So we will see if that is actually paid out. I highly doubt that NetEase is going to go through with that, at least initially, because it turns out NetEase has already provided this statement to Polygon. So yeah, they're already throwing shots back. So NetEase says, the allegations by Prytania Media and its founders, Annie and Jeff Strain, are wholly without merit, and we emphatically deny and will vigorously defend ourselves against them. Our record as a global gaming company speaks for itself, and we remain committed to conducting business with integrity. We are confident that the legal process will vindicate our position and shed light on the real reasons behind the demise of these Strain's studios. So yeah, both parties here, I guess, are pointing the finger at the other as far as the reason why this company, Crop Circle, eventually failed. This will all come out in court, I would assume. I've also seen that apparently NetEase is wanting to take this to federal court now. Yeah, it looks like, according to Polygon, this was filed in the Louisiana State Court, but yeah, NetEase, for one reason or another, I'm not sure why, is now filing for it to move to federal court. I would assume that would mean that it's going to be a bigger deal. So, will there be a settlement? Will there not be a settlement? Will NetEase have to pay like $1 billion to these two individuals for allegedly bringing the demise to this company, to this studio? That I do not know. We will just have to wait and see it play out in what I would only assume to be a fiery and very revealing legal battle.